Welcome to the Wedding Wisdom Series. This series is for couples planning their wedding. There are tips that are going to be for planning your wedding. There are going to be tips for things that you should avoid. This is going to be a series that we're going to do on a regular basis, and each week will be a little bit different and have a different aspect of the planning for you. I hope this helps as you make your decisions. By the way, I'm Sandra Schuff, the owner of Lavender Manor Weddings and Events. I'm a wedding planner and a wedding venue owner both. Been doing weddings most of my life. We'll see you in the next video. Hello, welcome back to the Wedding Wisdom Series. Today we are going to talk about the affordability of having a wedding at a wedding venue in the greater Spokane area. And the greater Spokane area could be northern Idaho, down to by WSU, up by Colville, out by Airway Heights, even Moses Lake. And you might be looking at your Pinterest board or an Excel spreadsheet and saying, can I afford to get married in the Spokane area, in that beautiful Lilac City? Well, yes, you can. It all depends on what you're looking for and what your plans might be. You can get married anywhere from, say, $2,000 to $30-some thousand, depending on what you're looking for. So we're going to talk about the low end, the mid-range, and the high end, which generally includes the all-inclusive, which means it's going to include all of your vendors. One way to get married is to have an elopement. You can do that at the courthouse for very inexpensive, but you can also have a beautiful elopement with up to 10 people at some of the venues in our area. Most of those outdoor areas allow for that, and have a package for that. So you usually have time to have the ceremony, to have a cake cutting perhaps, maybe even a first dance, just the two of you, have lots of pictures taken, and it takes about 2 to 3 hours, and it's a really special time. So that is an option for you. So now let's start with the low end DIY type wedding. For those of you trying to save money, it's a really good option. Generally, your best options are going to be at a city park somewhere. Those are going to be anywhere from about $800 to $2,000, depending on where it is that you go. The thing about that is you might have a tourist in the background in some of your pictures, because it is a public place and you have to bear that in mind. Along with that, you also could have noise pollution. You have to rent everything from your furniture to your power to your generator to your chairs, your tables. There's a lot you have to do expense-wise that you need to add to those costs and compare that with a venue. And restrooms, don't forget that. There's also no backup plan for weather. So when you're worried about the weather or the time of year that you're doing it, you have to take that into consideration as well. And then there could be pests. A lot of places, or most all of them, there's curfews, there's liability responsibilities to think about. Alcohol, if you want to have alcohol, there's a lot of permit hurdles to go through, as well as liability issues. And then the other thing that you need to think about is if you wanted to have food at your wedding, most parks, they'll let you have food, but if you're going to have a caterer, there's no kitchen for them to provide in, no way to keep the food from getting too hot, too cold, all those kinds of things. So those are the pros and the cons. The biggest pro is that you save money, and it's a beautiful place because most of our parks are quite gorgeous. The mid-range venue, but we're going to talk about low end of mid-range and high end of mid-range, because there's kind of a couple of different ways that can go. So if you're going to do the venue only, the thing that's going to be better than a park is you're not going to be doing any cleanup. You're not going to be picking up trash. You're not going to be doing any of the things like setting up your tables and chairs. You don't have to rent any of the furniture, any of that. Nice thing about that is you're not going to have other people there that aren't supposed to be at your wedding. And it can be also very beautiful. By the way, those are usually around $4,000 to maybe $7,000. But if you're going to look at the higher end of the mid-range, then you're going to be looking at somewhere between generally $5,000 to say maybe $12,000. But what you're going to get for that is you're going to be able to get things that the venue offers outside of just the facilities themselves. Generally, you could even have a day of coordinator. You could have, of course, a rehearsal with either one of those. Sometimes they'll have materials for planning services. They'll include a bartender for your reception time, yard games. They'll have a decorator and decor that's available for centerpieces and altars that are decorated and that kind of thing. And then all you're doing is adding those other vendors. as such as DJ, photography, decor, catering, oh, your florist. So those are things that you're going to be adding on to that package, right? In the end, you usually are able to save money when you do an all-inclusive package. Finally, now we're talking about the all-inclusive packages. That is the ultimate, because with them, yes, you're paying more money, and you're paying somewhere between $25,000 and $35,000 for that. But what are you getting for that? What you are getting is not just space to get married in, right? And it's not just a room or, a property. What you're actually getting is everything in one single contract. So you're getting your DJ and your decorator and your decor and your florist, your catering, your photography and your videography. You're getting all of that included. You don't have to spend time shopping around and vetting all, 5 or 6 different vendors for each of those categories. They've already done that for you. And they usually have pre-negotiated rates, so they end up saving you some money as well. So it's worth looking into and considering that. So for the busy professional in particular, it's the easy button. It's the way to go for that. For the busy professional in particular, it's the easy button. It's the way to go for that. So you show up, you look beautiful, and everything is taken care of for you. Everything is set up for you. All your vendors are there. You've got your day of coordinator who is taking care of making sure everything happens the way you want it to happen. So all-inclusive packages are definitely worth looking into. All right, so what's the bottom line here? In Spokane, you can scale your wedding to any budget, any energy level, in most places in the Spokane area. And if you love a high-end wedding venue, but the price is a little high for you, just know that you're probably going to get there if you do things separately on your own anyway, and probably more. But here's something you can check into. With the venues that you're interested in, be sure and check into other days of the week besides Saturday, because Monday through Thursday dates are becoming more and more popular all the time, and you can save money during the weekdays. Sometimes, some venues, you can save money on Fridays and Sundays as well. Not all of them, but you can check and ask for that. Your wedding can be what you can afford in most places in Spokane. And bottom line is this: if you can't afford a wedding, you can still get married. So happy planning.